Could your 25,000 Iraqi dinar note be worth thousands? Why 2025 may be the year that changes everything. Welcome back to my channel, Iraqi Dinar RV. Not long ago, many people, perhaps even you, purchased a 25,000 Iraqi dinar note for around $25. Maybe it was out of curiosity, hope, or belief in Iraq's eventual economic recovery. That note may have been tucked away in a drawer, safe, or envelope for years, forgotten. But now, in 2025, that same piece of paper is back in the spotlight, with speculation rising about its potential future value. Can a $25 note really become worth $25,000? While that may sound like a stretch, there are real financial movements, global economic shifts, and government reforms in Iraq that are fueling renewed interest and serious discussion. Today, we'll break down what's happening, what it means for IQD holders, and how to stay smart and protected in a sea of hype and misinformation. Why the 25,000 IQD note is gaining attention. Among all Iraqi currency denominations, the 25,000 dinar note is the most commonly held by foreign investors, especially in the United States. In the aftermath of Iraq's financial collapse during the early 2000s, the currency became widely available for cheap. Currency dealers began selling notes in small quantities, and ordinary people, some with no financial background, picked up a few notes, thinking, why not? In 2025, that decision is getting a second look. Why? Because Iraq appears to be at a turning point. After years of instability and economic challenges, the country is making significant strides in reforming its financial systems. These reforms, along with global support and growing investor interest, have people wondering if Iraq is finally on the verge of revaluing its currency. Revaluation versus reinstatement versus float. Before diving deeper, it's important to understand some terminology that's often misunderstood. Revaluation, or RV. This refers to an official, government-led increase in the exchange rate of a currency. For example, if the IQD revalued to $1 per dinar, your 25,000 note would be worth $25,000. Reinstatement. This involves returning a currency to a previously established rate, often after political or economic disruptions. Float. A floating exchange rate means the currency is allowed to rise or fall based on supply and demand in the global Forex market. A gradual float could lead to steady increases over time. While all these scenarios are discussed in IQD circles, none are guaranteed. However, the recent actions taken by Iraq's central bank and government are leading some to believe that real movement may finally be underway. What's changed in 2025? The difference between now and previous years of speculation lies in real-world progress. In recent months, Iraq has implemented tighter anti-corruption measures, modernized parts of its financial infrastructure, strengthened relationships with international financial institutions like the IMF, taken steps to reduce inflation and stabilize the currency, increased its credibility with foreign investors. These are not just rumors, they're measurable policy shifts that have been reported in official statements and international financial briefings. They're also part of why 2025 is being viewed as the most promising year in over a decade for potential currency reform. The numbers game. What could a 25,000 note be worth? Let's explore the possible outcomes, purely from a speculative standpoint. If the dinar were to revalue to $0.10 per IQD, your 25,000 note would be worth $2,500. If it hit $1 per IQD, you'd be looking at $25,000. At $3 per IQD, a single note could net $75,000. Some more extreme speculations go as high as $40 per IQD, which would value your note at a staggering $1 million. But these are largely considered unrealistic and should be approached with skepticism. It's essential to understand that no official changes have been confirmed. These figures represent potential future valuations if Iraq's economy fully stabilizes and re-enters the global currency market. Scams and misinformation. What to watch out for? Unfortunately, excitement can attract the wrong kind of attention. Over the years, many IQD holders have been targeted by scam operations promising VIP exchanges, secret redemption rates, or early access to revaluation events. These scams often come through social media, anonymous emails, or unlicensed dealers. Here's what you should do to protect yourself. Ignore insider tips from unverified sources. Never send dinar notes to anyone promising early exchanges. Only deal with licensed banks and financial institutions. Keep your receipts and certificates of authenticity. If a revaluation were to occur, any exchange process would be official, public, and carried out through legitimate financial channels. There will be no secret deals, no backdoors, and no early access lists. Lessons from history. Can a rebound really happen? Some people compare Iraq's situation to that of Kuwait during the Gulf War. The Kuwaiti dinar plummeted after the 1990 invasion, but once the country stabilized and rebuilt, the currency regained its value. Those who held on to Kuwaiti dinar during that time saw significant returns. While Iraq's challenges are more complex, and the political situation is far from perfect, it serves as a real-world example that currencies can recover and even thrive after massive devaluation under the right circumstances. What should you do right now? Whether you've held on to dinar notes for years or just learned about the possibility of revaluation, there are a few smart steps you can take. 1. Authenticate your notes. Counterfeits exist. Use a blacklight, watermark check, or reach out to a currency dealer for verification. 2. Organize your documents. Find your receipts, invoices, or dealer confirmations. If you can't locate them, try contacting the seller for duplicates. 3. Educate yourself. Follow updates from Iraq's central bank, the IMF, and trusted financial news outlets, not just YouTube personalities or forums. 4. Consult professionals. If there's a revaluation and your notes gain value, there could be tax implications. Speak to a financial or tax advisor in advance. Don't buy more out of FOMO. Emotional buying, based on hype, rarely ends well. Focus on managing what you already have. 2025. Hype or turning point? We can't promise a financial windfall, but we can say that for the first time in years, the optimism around the Iraqi dinar has some foundation in actual progress. Iraq's economy is beginning to stabilize. Its leadership is prioritizing modernization. And foreign investors are slowly returning to the table. If these trends continue, the path toward a stronger dinar, whether through revaluation, a float, or another mechanism, becomes more plausible. Final thoughts. Turning $25 into $25,000 may sound like a dream, but history shows that under the right conditions, such transformations are possible. Whether or not that happens with the Iraqi dinar in 2020 will depend on policy decisions, political stability, and global market factors. For those who have held on to their notes, now is a time to stay alert, stay educated, and stay cautious. Avoid hype. Avoid fear. Focus on facts. In the end, informed investors with patience and a plan are often the ones who benefit most when speculation meets reality. Disclaimer: this article is intended for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal, or tax advice. The foreign exchange market is inherently risky and prone to misinformation. Consult with qualified professionals before making any investment decision. Iraqi Dinar RV is not liable for any losses or damages resulting from the use or reliance on this content.